I have been super sick these past couple of days, so I was kind of resigned to not uploading this week, but I woke up today feeling pretty good, and I thought it would be fun to do a clean with me vlog while I also answer some questions. So I polled this morning on my Instagram and on my YouTube community to see if anybody had anything to ask me. My first question is from Meg. I think that's your name, Egg. And she asks, if you could live in another state, which one would you choose? If money was like no object, if I had unlimited funds, I would live in Washington State. I've never been there. I have always been infatuated with Washington State, even before Twilight, but Twilight definitely amplified it a little bit. The Pacific Northwest in general, I really love the idea of because I've never been. But Washington State, I would love to live in. Oregon also is beautiful, and I would love to live there. More realistically, I'm in Georgia, so a more realistic move for me is Tennessee. My husband and I want to move to Tennessee so bad. It was our like 5-year plan before our house burned down. We were going to save up as much as we possibly could and then move to Chattanooga because that's our favorite place to be. But, you know, life happens. So it may still happen someday, but definitely not 5-year plan now. She gave me a lot of questions. So another question from her is, what's your favorite movie? I love the movies, like going to the movies, watching movies, seeing new movies, old movies. I think that my favorite movie is Labyrinth, Jim Henson's Labyrinth. Jim Henson Anything really reminds me of like the good parts of my childhood and like spending time with my grandmother. So I love everything. Like I love the Muppets. I love Muppets Christmas Carol. I love Dark Crystal. As far as like a newer movie that's come out that I've really liked, this still isn't new, but Little Miss Sunshine is probably my next favorite movie. It is so good. If you've never seen it, prepare to cry, but also to laugh because it's funny. My third question for Meg is, do you like potatoes? And yes, absolutely, I love potatoes. I like potatoes in any form. Mashed potato, I think, is my number one. But literally, I'll never say no to any form of potato. My least favorite is scalloped, but I'll still eat it. And then the next question is, what was your favorite grade in school? I really hated school. I was always so like anxious and depressed and socially awkward when I was younger. I think my favorite grade was probably my freshman year of high school because my freshman year of high school is when I like really landed into my like group of friends, and I'm still best friends with my best friend from middle school, but we kind of merged into the same group of friends, and that's how I met my husband. I stayed close with a lot of them for a few years after high school. I don't really speak to many of them anymore, but so yeah, I think ninth grade in terms of like finally feeling like I have a spot to be. And also my favorite subject in school, which is not what you asked, but I'll go ahead and say it, was algebra because I felt like I was good at it. And there's always like an answer, if you know what I mean. Like I love English as well, I love writing, but you can read a book and analyze it so many different ways. But with algebra, there is one answer and one answer only, unless you get crazy with it, and I'm not talking about that kind of algebra. And then my last question from Meg was, do you know how much we all care about you? And yeah, I do feel the love, thank you. Now we're going over to Instagram where my cousin Zoe asked me, favorite book you've read lately or least favorite? Today I just finished A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham, I think is her name. And it was alright, but I did predict the ending by like chapter 4. By the time all the characters were introduced, I knew what the ending was going to be. They do a really good job of leading you on like a couple of goose chases, but stop. But just because I predicted the ending, that doesn't make it like bad. I did give it 3 stars. But it's because the latter half felt a little unwritten, if that makes sense. Sorry, I had to do a quick angle change because my cat is obsessed with the tripod. He just loves it. My favorite book that I've read lately that absolutely had me like kicking my feet, giggling, tee read it in 3 days because I couldn't stop and wanted to be on the island forever. Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. It was just wonderful. I wanted to close it and pick it right back up again. If you're a fan of like cheesy romances. There's an age gap in this one. All of Ali Hazelwood's characters are really smart. So sometimes I don't quite understand what they're talking about. Like science smart, like they're doctors and scientists. But it's never something that takes me away from it. Sometimes I'll be working on like a project that I don't quite understand. But that doesn't take away from the banter or like the chemistry between the characters or the yearning. I love that. And I'll mention one more. Right now I'm reading Home by Dark, I think is what it's called, by Riley Sager. I've heard a lot of like mixed opinions on Riley Sager, and I kind of see what people are saying. In my opinion, the main character, like, okay, so in the book that I'm reading, it's switching back and forth between the father of Maggie, I can't think of his name right now, and Maggie in the future. So father of Maggie is when Maggie is 5, and then it's 20 years later, Maggie's point of view. Basically, they lived in a haunted house when she was 5. Think Amityville Horror. It's weird because they even name drop Amityville Horror, but the similarities are pretty spot on. And they only live in this haunted house for 18 days. And there is something that happens that leaves them running from the home. And her dad wrote a book about it. And basically, the story of their house and the story of their family, they become famous for it. And she lives her whole life under this microscope because she's known as the girl who escaped this haunted house. She thinks it's all bullshit. So she's like, well, I'm going to go back to the house and figure out what really happened. That's her half of the story. And then the other half of the story is the dad's book that he published, and we're finding out what he's also saying. So we're seeing like the similarities or like little things that he changed. Like spoiler, don't listen to this if you don't want me to spoil it for you, but there is a scene in his book that he wrote where he finds a graveyard on the property, and it's all family members that are buried there. But in the real world, not in his book, she finds the graveyard, but it's like a pet cemetery kind of deal where all the family pets have been buried. Things like that. I went off on a little bit of a tangent. The thing that I like about Riley Sager's books is that his main point of view characters, like the dad and the daughter, are really fleshed out. They have a tone, they have like a stance, but the side characters, like the mother in the story, she's very generic. Even like as far as like the sentences she says, they don't sound like real sentences that somebody would say. Just things like that. I do have to say though that this is a very spooky book, and it has kept me like up at night because I'm too scared to go to sleep. Anyway, I'm not loving it, but I'm also not hating it. Anyway, yes, Problematic Summer Romance has been my favorite book that I've read recently, and I really liked it. I want to read it again. I would go as far to say that it actually like inspired me to get back into writing. Oh, my battery's dying. Let me look at my Goodreads really quick and tell you my least favorite book that I've read lately. It's not really fair of me to say because I already know that I'm a Frida McFadden hater, but I listened to Ward B by Frida McFadden, and I gave it 2 stars. I've ranted about her before. I feel like she's pulling one giant prank on us, and she's selling these books left and right and being like, I can't believe you idiots are reading this. And that sounds really mean to say. I'm sorry if she's your favorite author. And her books are really easy to read. She's good at a twist. Like, I read it in one day, or I listened to it in one day. None of her characters are ever likable. No redemption arcs ever. The characters are literally all bad. So that's my least favorite that I've read lately. Still on Instagram, and still my cousin Zoe asked me, what is your favorite part of the day? And I think that either early in the morning, like 7 a.m. when you don't have to work and you kind of just wake up naturally and you get to drink your coffee. The world hasn't quite woken up just yet. Or like 10 o'clock at night when the world is going to bed and you don't have anywhere to be in the morning and you don't have to wake up at 7 the next morning, so you can kind of just chill and relax and not worry about anything. My friend Amber asked me, what's your favorite concert? I've been to quite a lot of concerts. I feel very lucky that I'm able to afford them, or have friends like lovely enough to buy tickets for me. Without thinking too hard, I think I can name my top 3. I saw Simple Plan and Avril Lavigne with my best friend Jordan last year. We were dying. We wanted to go so bad, but the tickets sold out so quickly. And then the night before, she was actually already at my house. We live like an hour apart, so it was rare that she's at my house. And she sees a post from one of her friends on Facebook, and they're selling their tickets. She got Avril Lavigne tickets like the night before the show and surprised me with them, and we got to go, and it was a magical experience. Like, I love every concert that I've been to. That's why I went to them, obviously. But to know every single word to every single song that an artist plays live is just a magical feeling. So yeah, that's one. And then I've seen Halsey twice now, but I just saw her recently, and that was amazing. I went with my friend Amber. And then My Chemical Romance I saw in Nashville. They were fantastic. The vibe of everybody there was incredible. There were these guys in front of us that were so in the moment that I almost was in their moment instead of watching the show. They loved each other so much, and you could just tell that it meant the world to them to be there. Just like it meant the world for me to be there, because I love them. Yeah, I also have seen Phoebe Bridgers and Boy Genius. Those are two of my favorite. I've been to too many concerts to name. My Phoebe Bridgers one was like a religious experience. And then I've also seen Julian with Torres. That was cool. Wow, now I'm just telling you about every concert I've ever been to. My friend Steph said, "What's your favorite Billie Eilish song?" And I hate to be basic, but I think it's Birds of a Feather right now. It's just so sweet and like poppy, and I like it. Okay, my best friend Jordan, she commented on here. Her first one is, if you could choose an era to live in, what era would you be and why? I assume she means like decades. I hope this doesn't make me sound kind of stupid, but I believe I was born exactly where I'm supposed to be, because I love the internet. I love iced coffee. I love reading books on my Kindle. I love driving to where I need to go. Yeah, that might make me sound boring. I believe that I was meant to be a 90s baby, and that I was supposed to get my recipes from the internet. I'm going easy this week. I have two chopped Caesar salad kits, some grapes, and some blueberries. I have frozen chicken. I have a little bit of the ick about it, so I'm not gonna have it, at least not for tomorrow. I might have it in the future. I meal prep mainly for money reasons, because otherwise I'm spending like $12 to $15 on fast food a day, but also secondarily nutrition reasons, because if I don't meal prep, it is more likely that I will not have a single vegetable all week. So, oh, my countertop is wet. I'm back in my bedroom. I had to change the locale. My last couple of questions are from Nancy. Hi, Nancy. She says, take plenty of vitamin C. Thank you, I will. And she asks, how long have you and hubby been married? We have been married 9 years. It will be 10 years in January. I don't know what we're doing. We want to go to the beach, but we got married in January, which is cold. I'm hoping we'll go on a trip or something. We'll see. And then she says, do you have big families? I do, and I think my husband does too, but I only really know his side of the family that he's close to. So I know his mom and his sister, obviously, and his uncle, and I knew his grandparents before they passed away. I have 7 aunts and uncles, and then most of them have kids, so I grew up the oldest of like 13 or 14 cousins, and we all grew up together. So my aunts and uncles and my mom are all very close, and then I grew up close to them. And then I have my mom. I don't speak to my dad anymore, and I have a brother. My brother is 9 years younger than me. I was the mean, bossy big sister because I was kind of more like a mom to him than a sister, but we're close now. And then she says, do you have a favorite place to visit? And yes, I talked about it earlier, but I love Chattanooga, Tennessee, because there's half of the city that's like big city, big buildings, traffic, highways. There's things to see, things to do. And then the other half is like scenery, big river. You can go fishing. You can stay in a cabin, and it can be kind of remote, even though you're like right there next to a Publix. I don't know why I've romanticized it so much, but I have. I just really like it, and I wish I was there right now. I feel kind of crazy. I just really wanted to get something out for you. I'm coming really close to my 1-year anniversary of YouTube, and that feels exciting. Even if this is not what you expected or wanted or anticipated, I hope you enjoyed. And I enjoyed talking your ear off. Tell me something about you, because I talked about myself this whole time. What's your favorite color? How many siblings do you have? What's your least favorite chore to do in the house? And if you don't want to say all that, comment the cat emoji. Thank you for watching. And if you liked it, please like it. And if you want to see more from me, subscribe. I put out videos every Friday most of the time. Bye, 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 bye.